Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a Bible journal process video for you. I am working in the book of Luke, specifically Luke 2:19, where it says, "But Mary was treasuring up all these things in her heart and meditating on them." And I am kind of reflecting on the song "Mary, Did You Know?", which is one of my favorite songs, especially this time of year. I will be using acrylic paint and a stencil and working on covering up some of the bleed through that I have going on this page. So I will make sure to list everything I use down below. Otherwise, let's go. I'm going to start here in the lower left-hand corner of my page, and I am loosely sketching an image of Mary holding baby Jesus. And I love this verse, and I love the song "Mary, Did You Know?" because I think any mom can kind of identify with that feeling of just gazing at their infant, watching other people's reaction to their infant, and just being in awe. And I can't imagine how much more that was amplified with Mary knowing who her son was, and just the immense blessing that he would be. So that's just a song that really impacts me all the time because I can really identify with that as a mom. As I mentioned in the opening, there is a lot of bleed through on this page from the entry that is on the reverse, and I have found that acrylic paint is a great way of covering up bleed through, and using the scraping method is one of my favorites. So you just take a little bit of the paint. You can use an old credit card, a gift card, something like that, and just scrape it down the side of the page. I'm holding the card maybe like a 45-degree angle, just depending on how you want it to scrape, and I'm just mixing some different colors. I'm using some of the Handmade Modern paint. I have some Jane Davenport paint, which is fun because it is a matte finish, so I like mixing those two. And basically I am just completely covering the background. Now, depending on how thickly you put it on, it actually doesn't cover up text. So you can see I have some on the text to the right, but it's not covering up. You can still read the text through it. Now, if you chose darker colors or laid it on extra thick, then it might cover up the text. So just beware of that as you are trying this technique with acrylic paint. I am filling in the last few little spots that are the white paper in the background with this muted yellow color. I just love it. It's so pretty, this honey color, and that will really fill in my background nicely. And just to add a little bit more interest, I have this music stencil, and I'm coming in with white acrylic paint. Now this is going to end up being really messy. It doesn't really look like music in the end, but I like that it breaks up all of that color, brings in a little more white so it tones it down. And I know that this page is inspired by the song. I know that I was listening to music while working through this page, and I know the impact that has on me. So I like using things like this, not necessarily for their literal meaning of the music notes, but I just think that they can add a lot of meaning personally for you as you are working on your journaling pages. Now, when you are putting acrylic paint through a stencil, try to use as dry of a brush as possible. You don't want to use a lot of acrylic paint because it just smushes underneath. I got in a little bit of a hurry and I wanted a messy look anyway. This whole piece is kind of an abstract. I love the messiness of the background behind my Mary and child image, and so I went for it. But less is more when you're putting acrylic paint through a stencil, for sure. Another thing that would have helped is if I had cleaned off the stencil in between each section, but I didn't. I just started moving it around the page, and that is okay. Like I said, I was going for the messy look, and it just worked for me, and I'm really pleased with the ending result. It's nice to kind of change up your style every now and then, and it was really fun to work with acrylic paints. I feel like it's been a little bit since I've done the paint card technique, and it was a lot of fun to work on this page and to really get my mind around the Christmas season. Now that I feel pretty good about the background, I'm going to start working on my main image. I'm primarily using paints from Jane Davenport. She has a great selection of skin tones, which I think are really great. And I also like how her paint is completely matte. It doesn't have a sheen to it, which I happen to think looks really nice on a Bible journaling page, and it won't stick to itself or stick to the opposite page. So anytime you're art journaling, that is definitely something to look for. There are times when I like to have that sheen and I mix it in here or there, but for the most part, I really like to work with a more matte finished product. I am doing a little blending of some pink, this light pink for her cheeks, and trying to add a little bit of shading, but I'll end up outlining everything later, so you will see a little more definition for her face and her neck and things like that. Adding in some dark brown hair that's going to be sneaking out from behind her head covering. And again, really abstract, just really the hint of what is going on in the picture, but I love the juxtaposition of the messy background and then this mom just staring at her child, just imagining what the world is going to be like with this child, and just how amplified that was with Mary just observing all of the amazing things that happen around Jesus's birth and taking it all in. I absolutely love that, like I said before, and I just can only imagine what she was pondering, what she was thinking, and what she was meditating on throughout this whole time. I did choose a dark blue for Mary's clothing because I wanted it to really pop off that background, to be something totally different than the pinks and the oranges. Again, these are not really traditional Christmas colors, and that's okay with me. I'm mixing in some flecks of gold into that navy blue just to add a little bit of sheen here and there, and to add some shading, some different pieces. I'm bringing down her hair just a little bit more to fill in some of that area, and then bringing in the navy blue to wrap it up. It got a little tricky around the hair, but I am really pleased with how the image came out, and especially in the end when I end up outlining it, I think it comes out very nicely and really makes it pop. I do end up adding a halo to baby Jesus just so that we know that that is the child. Of course, it's done in the book of Luke, and it would be no surprise that that is the child we are discussing, but I went ahead and added that on so that we would know who that was. And then you can see I have some of that acrylic paint that got on top of the swaddled baby, and so I'm covering it with white. It does still come through just a little bit. It probably could have used another coat, but I'm not really worried about it. Okay, so I decided to come back with my acrylograph pens. These are from Archer and Olive, and they are acrylic markers, and they are amazing. They're really fine point that goes great over this acrylic paint, especially because it's matte underneath, and it's going to add just a little bit more definition to my image here, so you can see Mary's chin, you can kind of see baby Jesus just a little bit more. I really like how it turned out with the outlining. I am loving these pens. Like you guys have seen before, I am planning on collecting them in all of the colors because they are just absolutely beautiful. Now I'm coming back with a navy blue, and I will add in the title of this piece, which is Mary Did You Know, because that is the song and the thought that I am reflecting on as I work through this Bible journaling page. Once I'm done with the title, then I'll grab one of my Micron pens, and I'm just going to underline the verse that I was focused on. And I decide that really I want just a little bit more of that navy blue to be carried around the page. So I add some little stars here and there just to add some of that color and contrast throughout the background of the page. Like I said before, a really simple page, but a wonderful way to kind of reflect this Christmas season. I hope that you are having a wonderful Advent season and that you are getting your heart set and ready to celebrate Christmas. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have listed all the supplies down below and provided links. Heads up, those are affiliate links. I really appreciate it when you're able to shop those. It goes a long way to supporting this YouTube channel. All right, that about wraps it up. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.